Hello, my name's Carl, I'm 2 Echo 0 Echo Zulu Tango. Welcome to the channel. This is just an update on where I am with the radio room and also some important news coming up. When you set up a radio room or a radio shack, it isn't always about being on the microphone, doing stuff on radio. It also involves almost like a more passive use of radio. For example, getting your radio room involved in lots of sort of science type based projects. So I'll just show you around some of that while we're here as well. So like many people, the room that I use here is used for radio stuff. I also work in here as well. I've got I do a lot of my work from home, and then over this side of the room I've got some of my electronic music stuff, which I'll also talk about as well in a minute. But radios first. So mostly running the IC7200 is the HF radio. I tend to do mostly either voice. I sometimes use FT8, sometimes JS8, but I also run HF a lot on Whisper. I just tend to run it while I'm working in here. So while I'm getting on with other stuff, I'll run the Whisper program, and hopefully that contributes a little bit to the propagation studies that go on. So that's a good use. I think it's a good use for a radio when you're not actually actively using it, to let it run itself and run beacons or such like. So that's what I tend to do with that. I've got the little President Bell there. I've got a switch so I can switch between proper HF amateur radio stuff and then switch over onto the license free on just on channel 25. Run that on 4 watts. Over here I've got this shelving unit now in here. I've got the Motorola. Let me just put this light on. I've got the Motorola Mcs-2000, and that is an ex commercial radio, and that runs on, it's programmed in for simplex on 2 meters, and it's also got 1 and 2 repeaters in there as well. I've got the Rfinder B1, and this because I use I don't know if you can see that there, I've got a triplexer, or I split a tri-band antenna into 77s, which goes to that, 2 meters goes to that, and I've got 6 meters, which I can sometimes run and operate either 6 meters or 2 meters horizontal into the back of the 897. So sometimes I use this just for SSB on 2 meters, but sometimes I patch in 6 into that, but not that often. I also run a open spot, which is tucked away in the back. I run open spot on that, so sometimes you use it for directly into an open spot, but mostly I tend to listen to use the local repeaters on 77s. And this is where I just tend to have some radios that haven't been stored back away, so when I'm using a radio and I'm going to use it again, I tend to use this area to store. There's a 4 meter radio there, and there's a little Motorola I've got on loan, and there's my Yaesu radio there. So this is just, it's a little spillover from the main desk, so I can operate and play back with different radios on here. There's a power supply down there with a distribution board. So for storage, I do like using clear boxes, and I tend to do a lot of my storage in here. So that box there is hello foot. That box there is for batteries and battery connectors and chargers. Underneath here I've got this is stuff that goes out with me a lot if I'm working outdoors. So I have these cases which are pretty hard wearing. These two I've got, that's got an FT817 with a tuner and such like ready to go out. This one's got a 2 meter radio in there, which is a radio that I'm going to be using for some Raynet stuff that I'm doing soon. I just purchased. We're doing an exercise as part of the RayNet soon, where we're going to simulate a like a power down, like a grid down, working with the frontline services on providing radio cover. So the aim is to be able to work offline, to be able to grab and go and operate from high ground and give some radio cover in case we do get an extensive blackout, which is highly unlikely, but it's a pandemic is highly unlikely, and look where we are. So what I've got, I'll go into more detail about this system, but it's a, let me just bring it up here. It's a portable power system that you can keep on continuous charge. So I've got a charger there, I've got a solar panel in there, so I can keep this charged up for a long period of time. It's not a serious grid down zombie apocalypse system, power pack 450. But it should provide radio cover for a number of hours, maybe a day or so. But with the solar panel, I should be able to keep the battery going for 2 or 3 days, which is we're simulating a 3-day outage, but we're only going to do it over a few hours. Just to give, here's a bunch of network radios and old Bofangs that I used to use, and there's a DMR radio tucked behind there, and these are just different types of synthesizers. So these are analog modular synths, which is not really radio hobby stuff, but the use of control voltages and signals and signal generators and such like. There is a crossover between analog stuff and radio stuff, so there is a relationship between my enjoyment of working out how to use these and how to understand how radios work. Are we back? Right, so that was just a quick tour of where we are with some of the radios and some of the collectibles that I've got. So I've in this bookshelf at the bottom, I've got quite a bit of radio stuff, and I've got a metal cabinet here which has got some radio gear in. Don't tell the wife. But I've also got my military collection up at the university where I work. I rent an office space in a innovation hub at a university, so I've got some gear there. I'd love to be able to set up a radio at the university, but we live in pretty much a Faraday cage, so we can't get signals in and out. So that's the radio room. I'm also what I haven't shown yet is running SATNOGs. So I've got SATNOGs. So I've got a Raspberry Pi running SATNOGs again. So I don't know if you can hear that or not. That is the Fox telemetry software running with the FunCube 2 dongle. That's using the one of the spare antennas on the side of the house. I'm collecting a lot of data for the Fox spacecrafts, for the CubeSats. So when they pass over, I collect the data and then it gets sent to the main Fox. Let me just turn this volume off a second. I collect the data in the background and that data gets sent off. So that's using the Fox 1 telemetry system. But I've also got SATNOGs running as well. That's run on a separate Raspberry Pi. So I can program and record a lot of the passes of the satellites. But I've also built into the Raspberry Pi the SATNOGs monitoring tool. So this now enables me, when I get a decent pass of a satellite, I can actually see the waterfall and the radio spectrum. I can actually see what signals I'm getting on each pass. which is fantastic. That's a program that I run through the terminal on the MacBook as well over here. So I do, in the background there's lots of data being collected and stored and whatnot. So using Whisper, Fox, telemetry and the SATNOGs, there's a lot of so with the Whisper program, with the Fox telemetry and also SATNOGs, there's a lot of data collection happening in the background that's automatically sent to a database. So that's more of a passive way I've been using the radio room, because when you get busy working, kids and all of that kind of stuff, you still want to be able to use your radio equipment, so that's what I've been doing. So now a little update on a very important matter, and I've been asked numerous times about how I'm getting on with this. I pressed the pause button on studying for the full license for about 3 or 4 months. I completely put it on hold, and that's because work was really busy. It still is busy. We got all of the changes with the pandemic and such like, so I pushed that to the background. However, in the past 2 or 3 weeks, I'm back into it, and I've booked myself an exam. So in about 3 weeks' time, I've got an exam booked. It's an online exam. So really, that means I have had to learn the book. I've had to find a way of enjoying learning the book, and I can actually honestly say that I'm really enjoying learning the topics in this book. Mostly self-study. That's just the way that I work, and I find it very difficult to have a structure to joining clubs or joining learning groups. I'm very ad hoc, just the way the nature of having kids, nature of working, running your own business. So I have to find time in amongst all that. So I've been learning pretty much on my own. Lee's been really helpful. M5GWH is part of the Potteries Amateur Radio group, the support group there. Lee's been fantastic. He's just on the end of a phone to try and help me to find mock exams and such like. So, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. Even these sections on electronics and semiconductors and reactants and capacitance, I really didn't like that at first, but I'm starting to find a way around that, a way to actually enjoy that learning, which I'll share in the next videos. So this has probably gone on for way too long now. I'll try and edit it down. Thanks for watching. If you stuck to the end, thank you very much. If you've not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. That really helps me. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button as well. And I look forward to the next video. So bye bye for now.